In a positive sign that perhaps tensions between the White House and the Zelenskyy government are easing, Ukraine has overnight agreed to a minerals rights deal with the United States that's expected to be finalised Friday.
It's a very big deal. Look, it could be $1 trillion deal, it could be whatever, but it's rare earths and other things.
Joining me now, Director of Strategic Analysis Australia, Michael Shoebridge. Michael, thank you for your time. We haven't got a whole lot of detail, but in terms of the war effort and any prospective peace deal, what do you think this all means?
Well, I think it's a positive, but in Donald Trump's mind, this is all about Ukraine paying overdue bills for help America has already provided. It's not anything about what America might do to support Ukraine in the war from now. But I think at least it's drawn some of the poison out of the Trump-Zelenskyy relationship. Maybe that means it's put a floor on the bad news, and there's some hope that things can be built from here. But unfortunately, Mr. Trump still seems to think the war is Ukraine's fault, and that is not a good position for negotiations.
It is not, and it's factually incorrect, and that's shrewd analysis, Michael. Those Chinese live-fire drills and the revelations, shocking revelations, the only way we actually knew about it was because we were contacted by a commercial Virgin pilot.
The only way you knew about this was because a Virgin pilot heard about it called in.
Correct.
Correct. Thank you, Virgin pilot. You were head of defence on this.
I wouldn't say we were ahead.
It's not a...
We became aware of the situation because
And then you fed that information.
Now, this flies in the face of the Prime Minister claiming that the Chinese naval group gave them notice of the drills. Now, we are weak in relation to China and the military, Michael. We've seen it before in these earlier incidents, and now this. We've got China drawing red lines all over the place, and we let them cross them with impunity.
Well, exactly. This is, remember, the government, Mr. Miles and Mr. Albanese, told us this was an unprecedented surveillance operation. Well, it was unprecedented in its failure to not do the simple things. Whereas I've brought to mind another maritime surveillance operation called Operation Sovereign Borders, or Stop the Boats, which was an outstanding success, not over days and weeks, but over a long period of months. And that was because of the relentless focus of the then Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, you know him well, the key ministers, and them pushing all the bureaucrats and leaving nothing to chance. In this case, this Operation Watch the Boats is about 3 warships, and the Prime Minister and the Defence Minister are like a couple of Snow White sleepy and dopey dwarves, asleep at the wheel, not across basic detail, and Defence underneath them has unfolded a debacle.
Yeah, look, from day one, these guys are not serious. They've never had the right people in the room. They don't follow up. They don't know about caravans full of bombs. They don't know about warships. They wait for a pilot flying over the head to put a call through to Canberra to say, hey, we're a bit worried about the Chinese downstairs on the ocean live fire rounds. I mean, it feels like Dad's army, and that's being kind. And there's talk that there's there's a nuclear sub in the mix here. Defence won't rule that out. Now, if that's the case, is that concerning, Michael?
Well, absolutely. And it's more concerning that the head of our Defence Force says publicly, I don't know if a submarine is there. It's possible. As if he hasn't got a care in the world. He was equally dopey and asleep at the wheel about the fact that through the military chain, this $55 billion military machine that we spend that much money every year, it was an hour later than the Virgin airline pilot called in that his military chain passed information to Defence. So the problem is it's an incompetent failure, and the Prime Minister and the responsible minister, Richard Marles, seem completely happy with this.